Welcome to Cheshire Corners. I'm Sebastian Coco, and I'll be your host as we trip through the looking glass. Today we'll be introducing the mini-series My Psychedelic Process, where we talk to a range of artists, from musicians to comedians to the more traditional artists like painters, sculptors, and the like, about how psychedelics affect their processes. To kick off the series, we've got our very first guest, Indica. She's a rapper and video producer that's based out of California. So welcome, Indica. We're super glad to have you here.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first question for me is really, how did psychedelics come into your life? It's very clear because I checked out your Spotify, your Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And even this outfit, it's all very psychedelically inspired. Your music is definitely psychedelically inspired as well. So can you tell me more about how psychedelics even came into your life to begin with? And then,
yes.
Yeah.
Shrooms introduced themselves to me during my rave era. I was raving a lot in 2019, maybe about 2 or 3 raves, not that much, but I did, experiment with Molly and other man-made substances. And with the Molly especially, I was able to tap in with sound and music, and I just tapped into energy within myself that I never even knew existed, such as dance and, you make your voice do little certain sounds and, you know what I mean? So, but I think after, my little rave phase, I wanted to tap into more of the natural psychedelic world, because a lot of the things that I was feeling on Molly or feeling on acid, I wanted it to be real. And I felt like I can't trust something that doesn't come from the ground, that doesn't come from the earth. If it's man-made, then what I'm visualizing is probably man-made as well. But I can trust what I feel and what messages I get on shrooms, because it's from the earth, and God created the earth. So, I wanted to connect properly.
So being able to trust those natural kind of messages from the shrooms. No, that totally makes sense. So can you tell me more about, I guess, really what the mushroom says to you? That's kind of the big question here. It's because with this series, we want to talk a lot about how the messages, the influences, visions, whatever you want to call them, however you interpret them, the psychedelic experiences, how are these kind of weaved into your songs? As you said, you're a rapper, a poet. How is your poetry
Correct.
affected by psychedelics?
Well, when I go to the studio, I have done shroom studio sessions, and my music comes out so much better. But then I also don't want to be dependent on them to make music. What I believe, what I think is helping me when it comes to the music and the shrooms is that I'm tapping into my inner child. A lot of the things that we build walls as we grow older, when you take shrooms, those walls completely crumble. And we're able to get back to our core and get back to our original selves before the world hurt us. So that's A. And then B, we all have a higher self. So I believe I am a goddess. I have an inner goddess within me. And these shrooms help me tap into that powerful energy without limits. With meditation, it takes time. You have to do a lot of mental reflection and things like that. A lot of conscious, healing, mental healing. But with the shrooms, it's a huge assister in helping you heal what needs to be healed. Not only that, but going back, peeling back that onion layer and figuring out the root of why we're even dealing with this mentally in the first place. It's like a therapist, but it opens up your higher self so you could get the answers, because all the knowledge that we have is already within. you know?
Yeah, sure. No, that's a super interesting perspective. I guess on the music end of things, something I was curious about when I was kind of digging into your history a little bit. So you've been making music, rapping, and publishing on Spotify at least since 2019. Have you
Correct.
been making music since before then? And have shrooms and has psychedelics, like, have they always had the same kind of importance to you in your production process when making music?
Right. So I actually been doing music since I was 4 or 5 years old. My first song I dropped in like 2012. I was 13 years old. It was so bad quality. I posted it on SoundCloud. It was just like some layers I recorded on my voice recorder on my phone. I have some music that I posted back in 2015 under different names, but officially, like, my official rebranding of my music is in 2019. That's when I, signed up to be on all platforms and things of that nature. As far as my process goes, I have to be in the right mindset for the process to go correctly. Like, are you asking if the process is like different every time?
Well, I guess I was more asking, like, have psychedelics always been a part of your process when it comes to making music? And if not, can you kind of compare your music from when it is inspired by psychedelics and kind of when it's not, and kind of what that means to you, I guess?
Yeah, so no, I have not always used psychedelics. I'm pretty young, so I would probably been a kid. I started experimenting when I was 20 years old. But I think, so when I was a kid, I used to be able to just freestyle, have fun, I was so good. But I think as a child, I would have so much fun with rapping, freestyling, writing poetry. There's a certain flow that came with it because you're a kid, it's like, it's fresh. As you get older, bills, life, just effed up random shit happening to you all the time, Sometimes it's hard to get into that mode to freestyle, because to freestyle, you want to have fun, you want to be free, clear-minded, and a lot of the time it can get hard to get into that mindset of music. So taking the shrooms helps me tap back into my inner child. And not only that, but after I leave the studio, I'm still high, so I'm definitely, healing some traumas and things that I wouldn't face sober otherwise,
No, yeah, that's totally valid. So, like, as like a fellow artist, and like I didn't mention this to you, but I've also like made some music. I have like one song, like one rap published. So it's super interesting to kind of hear your as someone with a little bit of experience in that world. It's super interesting to hear your perspective in all of that. Because for me personally, the whole reason that I went into entertainment and all this kind of stuff. I was actually originally going to get my PhD in neuroscience. Fun fact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and 2 tabs of acid, like a trip, and 2 tabs of acid in the Midnight Gospel, and just a lot of soul searching really turned my whole view around. So yeah, just for kind of for your context, I got a lot of personal feelings and empathy around exactly what you're talking about. Do you want to just introduce your dog friend really quick?
Oh yeah, sorry guys, this is Cody. He had eye surgery, so I'm just, he's licking a lot in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it, so I just thought, have him sit with me.
Yeah, no, it's I totally get it. I have 2 cats, and I sat through both of them being spayed, so it's the same.
I have 2 cats too. They're in the living room.
That's awesome. Cool. So one of the things that you were talking to me about is that you were recently in a music video while on shrooms. Can you tell me a little bit more about that experience? And can you also just kind of plug that video a little bit? I'm not sure if it's released yet or not, but probably by the time this video is out, it will be released.
So I'm really excited, actually. It's my music video. I funded it all by myself. I mean, I had no choice. But The video is going to be sent to me today, so I'm really excited. It'll be dropped on Halloween on the 31st. I'll send you a clip and everything after we get off the phone. But yes, that music video, basically, my vision for the video was to project my divine feminism through ancient dance. And, the move in an ancient way, you gotta tap into certain energies within yourself to get to that ancient energy. So I just did the shrooms, so I could tap in, to tap into certain energies. Especially, like, in life, you're going through so much. Like, I recently lost my father. So, it can be hard to tap into certain energies raw. Sometimes, shrooms can help us assist to tap into our own energy. So I just wanted to tap into my higher self, my goddess energy, and move a certain way to project the vision within the music video.
Cool, that's awesome. So you kind of mentioned this like ancient dance language. Are there any specific ancient traditions that you're really inspired by or practices that you follow? Or do you more mean this is like a childlike, nostalgic, more primal, ancient self?
Definitely not a childhood ancient self. This is a newer life for me. I'm very much so into ancient Egyptian, ancient Kemetic energy. I'm very tapped in with the gods, with the goddesses. Of course, Elohim the Most High, but I do believe in other entities. I don't know if you know what Ifa is. But
can't say I do.
After I took a college course about African American history in college, I learned that our ancestors, the American slave trade and whatnot, we were converted to Christianity. And so as a 18-year-old, I'm like, well, I want to tap into my ancestry and what we believed in before we were converted. So I tapped into a lot of West African culture because where my people were taken from, the coast of West Africa, and I tapped into the Yoruba culture, Ifa. A lot of I don't really know how to explain it. Some of the things find me.
Yeah, no, totally.
Like
totally
you're on a certain frequency, and those things hold a certain frequency, so you just align with those things, and then kind of get drawn to each other.
No, yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of speaking from a personal experience. That's the whole reason that I am here on this channel, kind of making this content, really just kind of going with the flow and getting sucked in wherever the vibes are right, I think I think it's a good way to live life for sure. Do you have anything that you'd like to plug on the show? Is there anything, the music video, obviously, your social medias, maybe a YouTube channel, anything like that?
Definitely. Thank you for asking. My Instagram and my YouTube channel, I'm trying to build my YouTube channel as much as, trying's not the word to use, right? I'm building my YouTube channel. So yeah, I could definitely plug those things in. You can look me up on YouTube at Indica Child. It's same on all platforms for music. Indica Child on TikTok. And my Instagram is Indica Child, no spaces. So AINDICA Child.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Indica, thank you so much. This has been a great snapshot about just basically your process. I feel like I've learned a lot about how other artists can use psychedelics, and it informs my process. So I really appreciate it on a personal level of just getting to talk to you about kind of where you're going and what you're doing. It's super helpful for me.
No worries, thank you. Really quickly, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
Before, let's kind of leave it with the audience. What do you think? So, you know how, the normal is, normal people, But if someone goes out and they're, super, into their emotions, or they go hug a tree, it's like, oh, you're crazy because you're hugging a tree. But what if, the normal in the ancient times was to be more like a shroom person, because we're on this earth to feel and experience and to feel emotions and stuff. And what, when you're on shrooms, you tap into emotions and all that. What if when we're on shrooms, that's really the original way that humans are supposed to be, and then over time they just suppressed us with food and stuff.
I mean, I think that's a great question, an interesting theory, and it points back to stoned ape theory in a lot of ways, which we've talked about a little bit. So I know you're a huge advocate for that. In my opinion, it really comes down to what humans have in front of them and how badly they need to survive. You know, I think that the creature comforts of society are the real reason you see humans acting less human. That's the real, I mean, even the constructs of good and evil, they're only pertinent in society. It's not really pertinent in a survival situation when you're really just concerned about your next meal, how to keep the clan together, how to really track your next meal, get your next water, all those kinds of things. So I think
built a structure around us.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you're looking at, and I think what a lot of people almost feel like an unconscious itch around, is the fact that we've built society up around us to be safer, to be more comfortable, absolutely. But that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't have ramifications for our overall psyche, because our psychology has taken hundreds of thousands to millions of years to develop and to evolve and to become the human brain, the Homo sapien brain, that then took the next 10,000 years basically and built an entire society, built arbitrary rules based around, what was once necessary for survival and what might have, basically what worked at the time, but over time it just gets lost because of we're a bunch of animals in suits, and we forget that we're animals all the time. So yeah, that's my opinion on kind of that realm of on mushrooms, is that our natural state? I think it's less of a question of that, it's more a question of can you in society today sit down, look around, and recognize that it's not what nature intended. That doesn't necessarily mean it's evil, but it does mean it is human by nature. And maybe digging beyond that, we can find out a little bit more about ourselves.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm kind of on the same wavelength on that one, huh?
No, definitely. Well, Indica, thank you so much for coming. And for our audience at home, if you guys liked, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us so much. And make sure to give Indica a follow on all of her social media channels and subscribe to her YouTube channel as well. So guys,
thank you so much for having me. Thank you. And yeah, like, share, and subscribe to this video, guys. It's free.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you a thing. So awesome. Thank you so much, Indica. Everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, don't get psyched out. Cool.
Stay balanced, stay centered.
All right,
thank you so much. That was so fun. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm actually doing my purpose.